You are at a party right now, not metaphorically, literally. The music is playing, the drinks are flowing. Someone next to you just said something funny and everyone is laughing. And you are laughing too. But something is wrong, because underneath that laugh, underneath that perfectly timed smile, and those perfectly acceptable responses, there is a feeling you cannot name and cannot shake. The voices around you start to sound like they are underwater. The room feels simultaneously deafening and completely hollow. You look at the person next to you, laughing, talking, completely at ease, and a single terrifying thought moves through your mind like a cold wave. If I quietly walked out the front door right now, would anyone even notice I was gone? You are surrounded by more human beings than you have been all week. And you have never felt more alone in your entire life. This is not introversion. This is not shyness. This is not you being dramatic or ungrateful or broken. This is one of the most psychologically complex and least understood forms of human suffering that exists. And it has a name. Psychologists call it the loud lonely. The specific, suffocating experience of feeling completely invisible, not in an empty room, but in a full one. Today, we are performing a full autopsy on why your brain turns a room full of people into the loneliest place on earth. Why the harder you try to connect, the more disconnected you feel. And why the smile you wear to every party is slowly, quietly destroying you. To understand why a room full of people makes you feel completely empty, we first have to destroy the lie you have been told about loneliness your entire life. Society tells you that loneliness is the absence of people. It is not. Loneliness is the absence of resonance. It is the painful, widening gap between who you actually are on the inside and who you are performing on the outside. It is not about how many people are in the room, it is about how many of them are actually seeing you. And in most rooms, in most conversations, in most friendships, nobody is seeing you. Because you will not let them. When you walk into a crowded room, your prefrontal cortex, the logical planning center of your brain, goes into absolute overdrive. Your brain scans the environment the way a military intelligence system scans a battlefield. It assesses every face, every social dynamic, every unspoken rule. It calculates threat levels. It identifies the safest possible way to exist in this space without being rejected, embarrassed, or exposed. And then your ego deploys its most powerful weapon. Psychologists call it the social mask. You know it as the person you become at parties. Suddenly, you are highly agreeable. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You suppress your actual opinions, the complicated ones, the real ones, because they might make someone uncomfortable. You monitor your tone of voice. You perform your version of likable. You engage in small talk so relentlessly surface level that your brain, the same brain capable of extraordinary depth and complexity, starts to physically starve. And here is the devastating paradox that nobody talks about. The harder you work to connect, the more isolated you become. Because your subconscious mind knows the truth even when your conscious mind refuses to say it out loud. The people in this room are not laughing with you. They are laughing with the mask. They are connecting with a curated, filtered, carefully constructed avatar that you built specifically to keep yourself safe. And the real you, the unfiltered, complicated, honest version of you, is hiding behind that mask, receiving absolutely zero connection. You are starving for water while standing in the middle of the ocean. Because you are wearing a psychological diving suit. You feel lonely because the person they are talking to does not actually exist. This exhausting performance eventually leads to what psychologists call ghost mode. You have felt this before. You are in the middle of a group conversation. Everyone is talking. And then, without warning, you just turn off. You stop contributing. You retreat into your own mind. You stand physically inside the circle, but psychologically you have completely left the building. You become a ghost at your own party. This is not rudeness. This is not anxiety. This is your nervous system protecting itself from complete collapse. Maintaining the social mask requires a catastrophic amount of neurological energy. Your brain is simultaneously analyzing facial expressions, adjusting your body language, calculating your next sentence, monitoring how you are being perceived, and suppressing everything authentic about you. Eventually, the RAM runs out. The system pulls the plug, and you go ghost. But the deepest root of the loud lonely does not live in the party. It lives in your childhood. If you chronically feel invisible in groups, if you have spent your entire life surrounded by people and still felt entirely unseen, it is almost certain that you grew up in an environment where you were praised for what you performed rather than for who you were. Maybe you were the golden child, the one who only received warmth and attention when you brought home perfect grades, when you succeeded, when you made your parents proud in a way they could show other people. Maybe you were the peacemaker, the one who kept the emotional temperature of the household stable, who absorbed everyone else's tension so quietly that nobody ever thought to ask how you were actually doing. Maybe you were the entertainer, the funny one, the one who discovered very early that making people laugh was the most reliable way to get love, and the only way to avoid being completely ignored. In each of these roles, your developing brain learned the same devastating lesson. My authentic self is not enough. I am only valuable when I am useful, when I am entertaining, when I am perfect. Decades later, you carry that exact program into every room you enter. You walk into the party and your nervous system does not think, "This is a place to rest and connect." It thinks, "Clock in. Perform. Prove your worth. Keep everyone happy. Do not take up too much space. Do not be too much." You feel lonely in the crowd because your inner child is screaming from behind the mask. "I am doing everything right. I am smiling. I am being nice. I am being everything they want. Why does no one actually see me?" Because you will not let them. You are surrounded by people and completely misunderstood. Because you have spent your entire life making sure nobody gets close enough to understand you. You are terrified that if you drop the mask, if you stop being the funny one, the easy one, the agreeable one, the room will empty out. And you will finally have proof of the thing you have always feared most, that the real you was never enough to make anyone stay. So how do we escape this? How do we finally close the gap? First, you must brutally redefine what friendship actually means. You feel lonely in crowds because crowds demand performance. If you are a deep thinker, a complex feeler, someone who needs real conversation to feel alive, small talk is not just boring. It is neurologically understimulating and emotionally toxic. It is the cognitive equivalent of eating cardboard every day and wondering why you feel malnourished. Stop forcing yourself to thrive in environments that were not built for your psychological framework. One person who actually sees you is worth more than 100 people who only know your performance. Second, you must practice the terrifying art of dropping the mask. Real connection cannot exist without vulnerability. And vulnerability does not mean telling everyone your deepest trauma at a dinner party. It means giving people 10% more truth than you normally would. The next time someone asks how you are doing, do not give them the automatic answer. Say, "Honestly, it's been a really overwhelming week." And then watch what happens. Most people will panic. They will give you a polite nod and change the subject. Let them. They belong to the surface. They were never your people. But one or two people, maybe just one, will lean in. They will say, "Me too." In that exact moment, the mask cracks. The gap closes. The loneliness, for the first time in a very long time, has somewhere to go. Third, And this is the one nobody is ready to hear. The cure for feeling lonely in a crowd is not finding better crowds. It is becoming completely, unapologetically comfortable with your own company. You have spent so much of your life trying to fit into rooms you do not even like. You have exhausted yourself performing for people who are not even paying attention. Take your energy back. The people who truly belong in your life will not require a performance. They will not need you to be funnier, easier, smaller, or safer. They will see the real, complicated, unmasked version of you, and they will choose to stay. Stop auditioning for rooms that were never yours. If this video finally explained why you feel completely alone in the loudest rooms and helped you understand that your loneliness is not a flaw, it is a signal. Hit the subscribe button. On this channel, we don't just talk about random facts. We decode the hidden mechanics of your mind. We destroy the lies society tells you, and we help you understand the person in the mirror. I will see you in the next one.